Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here at the Arctic Circle Assembly here in Reykjavik. I'm here because talking about the Arctic and working in collaboration on Arctic issues has never been more essential from the perspective of the Northwest Territories in Canada's north. In the past 2 years, the world has changed in so many ways that impact the north. Arctic waters continue to open. We've seen geopolitical shifts and also shifts in our energy future and in how people live and work. Sometimes, as part of Canada's Arctic, we feel a little lost in these international Arctic dialogues. Our population is small and remote, but we do have a voice, and our voices need to be heard. That said, we live in the Arctic and the far north. We experience both the benefits and the threats of living in the Arctic. We are at the front line of climate change, of potential impacts of a changing geopolitical climate, and of shifts in international natural resource interests. Because of this, as I said, we need to be heard in conversations of the Arctic. I also want to recognize one of the important ways our territories collaborates with our Indigenous people, our Indigenous governments, the Dene, the Métis, and the Inuvialuit. And these governments and voices also need to be heard. The political environment of our territory is unique, and I am proud that Indigenous governments have voices and are moving forward with self-government and self-determination. You might wonder, why do we feel we need to be heard? We have perspectives to share about the impacts of climate change in Canadian Arctic. Like many other parts of the world, we're seeing impacts never before seen: flooding, coastal erosion, and having to consider moving whole communities. However, we also see new opportunities with climate change. We remain open to responsible, collaborative development because we can't do it alone. But we need to be part of the conversations about it and how it happens. Decisions about where and what is developed in our landscape must include us. We need decisions and investments that will enable us to better support our people and to take advantage of economic opportunity in the north to the benefit of Northerners and all Canadians. Together, we need to invest in nation-building infrastructure, increase social supports, and address the economic challenges compounded by COVID-19. Our government has a vision of strong, self-reliant people and communities working together for a vibrant, prosperous, and sustainable Arctic and Northern region. By achieving this vision both at home and abroad, it supports Canada's enduring Arctic sovereignty. Decisions about the North must be made by Northerners. After all, Northerners have the biggest stake in a strong and sustainable Arctic Canada. A 2019 report by the Senate of Canada's Special Committee on the Arctic titled Northern Lights, A Wake-Up Call for the Future of Canada states, it is essential that the Government of Canada recognize that the Arctic requires greater attention, investment, and consistent support from the federal government to complete Canada's nation-building project. I couldn't agree more with that statement. We cannot continue to be an afterthought as a contributing part of Canada's economic future. As I said, anything about the North must be defined by Northerners, and we do this to ensure that our voices are heard and we have a sustainable future for generations to come. Therefore, it's also critical that our youth have a voice as well, as they are our future. I'm excited today to hear from our youth panel, and I have cut my speech short to be able to hear from the voices of our youth. So thank you very much for coming to the seminar.